What's up, everyone, and welcome into episode number 498, where it is my honor and privilege to welcome back a guest to the podcast, and that is GVSU swimmer Evan Scotto Divetta. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a little while. I appreciate you joining. I know that a lot has changed since basically you joined last time a year and a half. I believe it was like May 2024. So just how's things been kind of going since then? I know a lot has changed. I know a lot of very positive things has happened, including not only winning a GLIAC, but two national championship relays as well.
Yeah, and I mean, lots has changed. I mean, people going in and out. We got a lot new faces on the team this year. The last year was one of the best times that we've had. I mean, with how our success was not only at conference but also at nationals. I mean, that was one of the biggest highlights, and I couldn't have been more happy to have done it with those guys. I mean, it's just something that not many get to really see or get to go through in their time, but I'm just glad that I was able to be a part of it.
Yeah, you guys got fourth place as a team. Is that the best you guys have ever done, or it has to be up there at nationals?
That has actually tied our best all time with getting fourth. We've gotten fourth, I think it was the first time since 2010 that we've actually, yeah, 2010 since we've gotten fourth. So it's been quite a long time, and we were very happy to squeak in there at number four.
I was just going to say, going into the national meet, not only as kind of a team that was expected to do well, but just two relays that obviously going into had a very good chance to win a national championship. What was it like going into kind of preparing, then like the nerves that you're experiencing? Because when you have those more expectations than maybe prior years, there's probably a little bit more nerves. Maybe the atmosphere is a little bit different going into the national meet.
So this was actually my first nationals that I've ever competed at individually. So I knew that I wasn't gonna be like one of the faces that was gonna be shown as like one of the top guys to potentially win a national title.
Okay.
So I just kept telling myself that I'm just here for me, and this is gonna be something that I'm hoping to experience for myself for the first time. And I just would always tell myself, just go out. You got nothing to lose. Whatever happens, happens. Just know that you gave it your best, and it's quite an experience to go through.
And going for the first time individually, how was it? Like, did it meet expectations? Did it overblow expectations? Like, what was it like just kind of going there for the first time by yourself doing an individual event, but then obviously being a part of a couple of relays as well?
The individual portion was way beyond expectations. I did not think I was going to place that well, but I mean, I went out there and I trained for being able to swim in the morning, and that really helped as that placed me in the top eight, which then set me up for, uh, I'd say a pretty good final session. I did finish in a top four, which was very happy about in the 50 free. But the other ones, I mean, the 100 was actually a little bit on the lesser side, but the relays, that was one of my all-time favorite moments. I mean, going and looking back at it, I still do this to this day. I mean, I watch back the relays just because I know of what we were doing back in the ready room, how we were trying to not be super serious and really let those jitters hit us so hard. So it was kind of nice to be able to do that and be able to like mellow out a little bit more as opposed to really be so nervous to really lead off that relay.
How difficult is that though? Because obviously, like when you're at conference meet, when you're kind of preparing throughout the year, kind of getting this relay going, like there's not kind of that expectations. It's not like the big meet. It's like preparing for that. Was it difficult kind of not having those jitters, or were you trying not to think about it too much going into it and you were just kind of doing what you guys have done all year?
I was doing my best to not think about it. I mean, the more I think, the more I feel like something could go wrong and the more likely something could have gone wrong. With what happened at nationals, I I'm just gonna be truthful about this. I wasn't even supposed to lead off the relay. I was supposed to end up going second, but my teammate Esteban, he said his shoulder wasn't doing the best, and he didn't think he would have the possibility of leading off as well as he would want us to. So then he talked to me about that. I told him if he doesn't want to lead off, talk to Andy, and I can do it for him because I know what I'm capable of doing, at least in that first 50 freestyle final. And then I ended up going to lifetime best. Turns out that it ended up really helping us. I mean, that kind of made the jitters go up a little bit, but
Yeah.
I definitely felt a lot more confident because of that experience individually.
I was just going to say, going off first, is that a pretty stressful situation, or is it more of kind of the anchor leg? Because I feel like the anchor leg, just being the last person to go, you know that, like, depending on where you're at, you know that you have to kind of get going, try to catch guys or try to keep the lead. But if you're going off first, like obviously you want to have a good swim. You obviously don't want to DQ. You don't want to go early. But like, is that like a big, like, I feel like that's kind of like a big expectation spot where if you truly have that great first 50 or whatever relay you're swimming, it kind of builds off of that momentum a little bit.
I'm not gonna say one spot is more specifically stressful than the other because being on at a relay at nationals, every single spot that you're on or could be at is just gonna give you a lot of nerves, whether you're going second or third or even leading it off. I had the privilege of leading it off, and it was a bit more on the stressful side because Matt would always give me crap about it beforehand. He'd be like, "Oh, you got to make sure that you go, oh, 19-4, really put us in it." And he would just always be the kind of guy that would like joke around with that stuff and try and get a smile on my face. And I mean, that definitely kind of took away a little bit of the stress, but I kind of went through the same thing I did in the 50 free final and the 100 free final where I would just go out and do my best. And at the end of the day, even on the last relay, that mean I went my personal best by about another 2/10 of a second on that relay, and all I wanted to do was give the boys the best possible chance at closing out and letting Matt be able to potentially finish off for a national title in his last race.
Do you remember your reaction time when you let off? Like, was it kind of what Matt was talking about, and maybe not as great as you were hoping it to be?
Ooh, I'd say it wasn't probably the greatest, especially on the 4 free, because I heard in the video, I have a video of it as well, that there was someone who did a little bit of a quick little yell before the start. So I heard that, and then the gun went off immediately. So I didn't have the best reaction. I think I was like, ooh, I think it was like 0.71
Okay.
in the reaction. I think, but that's just a rough estimate. It's like point 0.6 high, point 0.7 low. So it wasn't
Okay.
super good.
So this might be a stupid question, and I apologize for it. So let's say someone did yell and someone thought it was the gun and they went. Would that really be DQ, or because someone kind of yelled, they might have a chance to still kind of stick in the finals?
So what would have happened if that yell did get someone to go? Then the officials would have stood us up while that person was in the water, and then they would have DQ'd the relay because,
Okay.
and then they would make sure that we would all step down and then make sure everything's cleared up and all that, and then they would restart the race.
Okay, so basically anything besides the gun, if someone goes early, it's most likely a DQ then at that point.
Yes.
Okay. No, I just wanted to double check. I just didn't know if obviously like fan noise, kind of like any other noise that can like people might think is that can affect it, if it would obviously lead to a DQ. But I want to kind of talk a little bit more about the relay nationals and stuff like that, because obviously you want to try to have the fastest reaction times. You want to give yourself a big chance to obviously win. When you're in nationals, is it like all out? Like you're trying to get as fast as a reaction time as you possibly can because you're competing against the best in the country? Or is it more of just like when you kind of have a chance, to win, maybe like the third or fourth legs of a relay, you're kind of being a little bit more careful. Like you don't want to like take your time, but you also don't want to DQ the relay as well. Like, how do you kind of balance that?
So my friend Carson, you know Carson, he
Yeah,
is really good with timing his starts. I mean, just the last few days I've seen him like with his exchanges, and he's really good at getting the ability to time people really well. Me, it's taken a little bit of a hit or miss every now and then. Sometimes I'm a little too slow, and I've been really trying to work on that, especially at nationals when I only really did a relay start on one relay.
yeah.
And it was a two medley relay, and I thought it was very close. I think I was very close to a DQ. I don't think I was, but it was a very tight exchange that I feel like I could have left later. But if I did leave a tiny bit later, then it might not have been enough for our relay to have won that heat. But then as they looked back at it, it was the team next to us that did end up DQing as well.
Okay. So basically, it's trying to figure out, trying to balance like how much risk you're going to take versus like not, because it's obviously your goal is to win, and you end up not only winning one national championship, you won a two in a relay. What were the emotions like after each relay? Like, what did it like hit you kind of instantly? Did it take you a little while to kind of like settle in? Obviously, like, it's a huge deal. Like, you get rings because of it, you get trophies because of it. You're part of history now of GVSU because of it. Like, what are just the emotions? Is it like everything kind of just hits you all at once?
I mean, as soon as Matt on both of the relays touched the wall, I had to wait and look at the scoreboard to make sure that we did win. Because, I mean, keep in mind, we had three teams that were in contention, not only for the two free, but the four free relay. I mean, the four free, first to third was 600ths of a second, so that's .06, which is very close. And I honestly did not think that Matt was going to be able to pull that off. But the fact that he was able to, I could tell on the last 25 that he was gunning for it. And with all the emotions, I mean, once that happened, it just felt so unreal with everything because I know that we all worked really hard for that, and we were able to finally pull one off considering how our past few years have been. To be able to finally get a relay national title where we were able to put everything together, that just made me feel so hype and excited and happy. And there are pictures everywhere
Yeah.
about how you just see that I'm just always like in a big muscle position, just trying to flex as much as possible because of that. It was fun, and I'm just very, very thankful for not only myself being able to do it, but the rest of my team for being able to trust me. Not only that, but be able to do it themselves and be able to bring us into that time and get us that title, which was our first time winning a relay national championship ever, and we ended up winning two, which was kind of exciting.
Yeah, and you talk about kind of the past years that you guys have had, maybe not putting it all together, and you finally did not only once, but twice. It had to be kind of like a weight off your shoulders a little bit. I don't want to say like maybe you guys had expectations going in to win a national championship, but it's almost like kind of that weight on your shoulders, just knowing that like we haven't put it all together. If we do finally put it together, there's a real chance. And when you finally did, obviously there's that excitement, there's that like togetherness. Like you're going to have quote unquote that relay together for the rest of your life. Like that's going to be you're going to be a part of it. You're going to be remembered for it. Like you're going to be in the history books, and that has to be a pretty cool feeling to be a part of that. Not only once, but twice with a couple of guys that I know that you know very well, and a couple of guys that made huge impacts at GVSU. And I know that obviously you've made that so far too.
Yeah, and that I did not we didn't think we were gonna at all have a chance in that 4 free relay. I mean, we dropped from conference about 2 seconds in order to actually have a chance at winning. Because Tampa came in really fast, McHenry came in really fast, Drury came in at 253. We were not supposed to go as fast as we did, but be putting us in the race is really what got us going and gave us the confidence to do that.
Do you think like momentum and just kind of the year, just kind of the nationals that you guys had helped with that a little bit? Because a lot of people believe in like momentum in sports and just kind of like the good time continues to roll. Like it truly seemed like I don't want to say everything went right because I don't know if everything did go right, but like everything kind of aligned to that point and it truly carried you guys to that fourth place finish. Like it had to be a little bit of not only momentum but feeling good about your guys' self, believing in yourself, and when that happens, you never know exactly what can happen.
Yeah, that was a big momentum builder, especially coming into the off season. There weren't going to be that many people that were going to be really staying at GV to be able to train. I ended up staying the entire summer. I mean, there was a few others that came in June and July, and then they stayed the rest of the summer. Aside from trips and stuff, we were all there at 6:30 in the morning, getting in yardage in the morning, about 3K for within an hour, really focusing on our work and making sure that we're going to be in the best shape possible for the next season. And I do want to believe a little bit in the momentum, but I also kind of believe in we had last year, that was fun. That's now in the past, and we got to
Yeah.
focus on what's coming up for this year because we have a lot of very good talent on our team. We just got to make sure that everybody is going to be adapting to training, adapting to how we do things here, and it's just all going to start happening tomorrow when we start with Inter Squad.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you're also a senior now. So you're kind of that leader. Does that feel weird? And you are also announced captain earlier today as well. Congratulations on that. That's
Thank
an
you.
awesome accomplishment. I know probably that means a lot to you. So just talk a little bit about what that means being a captain and now being kind of that leader, being that senior. I know last year we talked a little bit about you were kind of the upper class, but now you're truly the quote unquote, and I'm not saying you're old whatsoever, but you're kind of like the old one of the team.
Don't worry, I've had a lot of old jokes that I not only play on myself, but a few others kind of play along with it, so I'm perfectly fine with that. But it's a little surreal, honestly, with how the time has honestly flied. Because I still remember when I was a freshman here, trying to be one of the best, and really just prove that I did belong here. And now I'm seeing this with a lot of others that are coming in, and it's a big responsibility, especially with the whole captain role, because now a lot of the stuff that they look up to me to lead, they look up to me, the fellow captains, to guide them into the best possible situations that we can,
Yeah.
and just going through everything as one, because we've had a meeting about this. We've talked to them about how we want our fam our team to be as close knit and practically like a second family because we believe that is very important to us. And once we're able to get everyone kind of on that page, it doesn't have to like they don't have to agree with it, but as long as they hear our what we have to say and they're fine with it, then it'll be a good step in the right direction towards us potentially doing a lot better than we believe we can.
And how difficult is it kind of navigating that? Obviously, it's important to have that buy-in. You have the history, you have that success that you've had, not only individually as a team as well. So that definitely probably helps a little bit, just kind of getting those better recruits, getting those better swimmers, getting those guys that you talked and girls that you talked about, the really talented swimmers to come in. But you also have a lot of swimmers from all around the world. Like it's not just the United States. You have Austria, I know is one specifically. I can't remember all the other ones. I know it's all a lot of different countries. Like how difficult is it trying to get a team together as a captain that are coming from so different places, so many different backgrounds to kind of buy into what you guys want to do. Because for the people that are from overseas, this is completely different training than they've ever done. And even people from Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, even from the US, like this could be completely different for them as well. Like you're trying to get a team together from completely different territories to just buy into what you guys want to do.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's from all over the place. We have not only just freshmen coming in, but a lot of internet transfers as well. And our team, we is half of our team is newcomers. So that's going to be a big path that we have to navigate. And I think so far, the captains like me and Carson, we've done a good job trying to allocate the boys to being like this is a lot more of like a safe and familiar environment that we're trying to pretty much make you guys feel as comfortable as possible. So that way, when the times do get rough and all that, and everything just becomes all snowy and white here,
Yeah.
it'll be something for them to be able to reach out to us and talk to us and ask us for things that they might not ask their friends or that ask other teammates to do. We're just trying to make sure that everyone who's come in, whether they're from a different college, a different country, a different state, it doesn't really matter. We just want to make sure that everyone is at the best possible mindset for when it comes in, and that way they can feel like they are a part of this family that we are trying to create.
Yeah, no, I love that. And obviously, like you mentioned, they're coming from all over the place, but there's also that unique bond as well because you're all swimmers. Like you've all probably gone through a lot of similar things, like maybe difficult practices. Like it might not all look the same, but like for a lot of you guys, I'm sure probably being in the pool or just kind of being on the pool deck is kind of like a home for you, like just because you spend so much time there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the guys who spends the most time on the pool deck. Everyone that if you ever talk to them, they'll tell you that I'm always on the pool deck the longest aside from the coaches because I want to make sure that I'm not only doing well, but others are. And so sometimes when I have 1:30 practice and I don't have anything going on the rest of the day, I might stick around to watch 3:30 practice because that is where a lot of our distance-oriented swimmers are, and we really want to make sure that everyone's getting in on time. They're following what the rest of us are doing. They're putting in good work, but because I mean, they're distance swimmers. They obviously put in a lot of good work.
Yeah,
They put in a lot of yardage, and I commend them a whole lot for that because that's obviously something I can never do. But
yeah,
they do really good things there. Andy writes really good stuff for us to make sure that he's planning to make sure that we are not only ready for midseason, but for conference for some of us, and then others he's planning for us for nationals, which I think last year was a really good recipe for success. And I think this year could be the same possible thing.
yeah. No, absolutely. Just like you said, depends on the person you might have. Some people that also are able to go to nationals as well that maybe you don't necessarily plan on. But have you ever joined in on a distance practice? Would you ever join on a distance practice one time for your senior year, or are you still going to try to avoid that as long as you
Oh,
possibly can?
oh boy. I don't. I've done actually non-sprint practices before. He usually gives three options of what you can do. And so far, I have not done a distance practice just because I know that I'm more of a sprinter. I need to do a lot more up intensity, a lot less, not as much yardage, but a lot more intensity based, a lot more faster paced kind of things. Can I do some of the things that distance does? No, but it's
Okay.
got to be the right day to where if the opportunity does present itself and it's like when we first come back from like winter break and we're coming into Wayne State, maybe that might be a good way of coming out of the break to get some extra yardage in
Yeah.
that could potentially help me, but I as of right now I gotta stick with my good old sprint practices. They do me wonders and they've gotten me to this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely, which is completely understandable. But let's talk a little bit about kind of getting you to this point because in the first interview, we talked about like you joined swimming later than most people, how you wanted to swim at GVSU. You mentioned also earlier, you're like, do I even kind of belong here freshman year? 3 years later, we talked a lot about what you've already accomplished. You're starting to reach that potential that you probably have seen in yourself. Just talk about that potential and not only starting to finally reach it, but how you've used like the last year as like a stepping stone. Like, what are you doing differently? Like, technique wise, do you see anything different? Or is it truly just like you're starting to kind of unlock it a little bit? Like, you finally hit that point and you're like, okay, like, let's go.
I think it's a lot more with how training has gone. I mean, I've been a lot last year was a big piece of how I was able to be able to get into that kind of shape that I was at nationals. I mean, I had Matt train with me most days. I mean, we would be doing not necessarily always doing the same sets, but usually we do different ones, and then the occasional we'll do the same set. He'll go out a lot quicker than I would. Me, I would just try and make sure that I would try and stay as close as to him as possible. Some of the sets I would be falling way behind, which I'm not really the best at practice, so that is to be expected, but I always tried to make sure that last year I would make sure that I'd use that to kind of boost me through my very unorthodox sprinting,
Okay.
and that would kind of lead me into this year where I'm almost kind of trying to do the same thing, except I'm trying to find the certain other people that I'm going to be doing the practices with,
Yeah.
and I'm doing the best that I can with the opportunities I'm presented, with my sprintings being as fast as it's ever been, and being able to finally make sure that I'm finally able to put it all together at the very end of my career. But as you are right, I this is a last year was a big stepping stone, and it kind of taught me to stick to a routine the best that I can. And when it comes to warming up for meets, when it comes to my daily life, I've gotten really good at keeping up with a routine.
Yeah, because that's obviously helped you get to where you were last year, helped you succeed, kind of just continuing what you were doing. But you mentioned, and Matt, you've mentioned kind of other teammates as well. Just how important is the team overall, not only having like a competitive environment, but just pushing each other? Because I had a coach on a little while ago. He basically talked about how the culture that he wants to build is not one to replace. Like when you overcome someone, like you're not replacing them. You're using that person, you're using each other to continue to push each other. Like just how important is it to have kind of teammates, just the team around you to do that, especially like when you're kind of heading into a year that you probably have big expectations for.
It's very big. I mean, being a swimmer is mostly like an individualized sport, but as a team, and being with teammates that you know and you've gotten to know the last few years, they have definitely given or and definitely do give swimmers a reason to want to try and get faster. The whole reason when I came in why I wanted to get faster was because of who I saw that was there, and I believed that I could try and do my absolute best to get as close, if not beat them. That's always been my philosophy, is trying to make sure that I focus on getting the best quality of work in. It may not be the best yardage, but it always happens with quality, and I always give the best effort that I can. With teammates, they always do the same thing every single day. I always hear guys wanting to race, and I saw it even this morning when we had practice. A couple of teammates were wanting to race a 25 off the block, and it's always just something to have that little competitiveness in practice. Maybe not so much during the main sets because we all know it's a lot more difficult to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the certain things of like speed stuff or test sets when we do stuff off the block, it's always a good thing to have those people that can push you through the hardest points of practice. Even on kick sets, I mean, Andy always loves telling us to really try and race each other when we're doing like a 50 kick all out or finishing up 10 ones. He always wants us to race the last one, beat the person next to us. it's something that is always given me some reason to want to be able to keep getting faster. And I just got to know that everyone else is getting faster. So I got to make sure that I stay just a touch ahead and be able to really keep my cement myself as the guy still.
Yeah, no, and that makes complete sense. Like you want to have that competitiveness, but you also want to have kind of that camaraderie through it. Like when you have those competitions, like through the speed sets, like after practice, like you know that like you want to like continue to push everyone. But you also did mention like through the difficult sets, through kind of the main set, like when everyone's going through that, like everyone's kind of embracing the suck, and it's almost like just the cool thing about swimming is you did mention it's an individual sport, but it's also a team sport within that individual sport. I feel like that's what makes it so unique is everyone's experiencing it, but you also have those other guys, those other teammates with you to help push you through it because I'm sure there's probably times, even though I know you love being on the pool deck. I know you love swimming because you can tell just how much time you spend there, and you talked about it earlier. There's probably times where you don't necessarily want to exactly go to practice or maybe feeling as well in the practice, and you have those other guys to really kind of push you along and just saying like, "Hey, let's try to get better at least 1% this day."
Yeah, when it comes to practices, I don't always have the urge to want to be in the actual practice, which does make it a bit harder to do. But with those teammates and those people that are there, it just makes it a lot easier to want to be able to get through it because you know a lot of people always want to not have to endure pain alone. So that's why it's always harder when you go and do individualized swimming. You are by yourself. You have to go through a lot of pain, a lot of hard practices when you gotta use the social aspect to kind of indulge yourself a little bit more and want to be able to be more interested in wanting to do this so that they don't have to suffer themselves. I mean, we all do the same kind of things. The bus being able to get through everything at the very end and all of us give each other fist bumps after we do a hard set or it's just something really that we're doing our best to make sure everyone knows that we notice that you guys are putting out your best effort and we're just trying to acknowledge that it doesn't have to be in a big grand gesture, but we're
Yeah,
just doing little small fist bumps to make sure that we're saying, "Hey, good job on this." Even though if you didn't have the best day, you guys still did a good job. You got through it.
yeah, exactly. Definitely probably are points where you probably like you talked about maybe not super excited to be there, but you didn't mention of how like important like the team is, just how much like it helps like swimming. Do you think you could ever do it individually, or do you think it's just so key to kind of have people there to like push you, not only to hold you accountable, but just be there to train with? Like, do you think it would kind of be boring to swim by yourself?
It's gonna be it would be a lot harder to do it. I mean, I have done it before and I do it like once a year during a vacation where I train by myself for a week or two. It is very difficult to do it by yourself because when you know that you have to go through some hard times and you don't have the people there, they don't have the social aspect, you don't have those individuals that you know are doing it as well like you are, that really takes a big punch to you and you're almost just like wanting to not do it or half-ass it and just say, "Hey, I'm probably instead of gonna do 12, I'll probably do like 8, and instead of 8, I'll do wanna do 6," and stuff like that. It make definitely makes it harder to do it. Could I do it for like maybe, like 2 months, maybe after this season? Possibly. But I don't know if I would make it and be able to do it like full time by myself. I get that some people are really good with that, and props to them because that's very hard to do.
Yeah.
I just know that with my experiences with this, I've always been in a team environment, and I've gone through this with other individuals that I probably would not be able to survive as well as some others.
Yeah, because everyone's different. Like you've been part of a team environment for a while. Like a lot of your like big moments have been because of the team environment. We'll talk about here shortly about like your swim career after GVSU because you might not be completely done after that point. But before I kind of get into your last year, like expectations, what you want to be remembered for, if we have time, maybe like a fast round, stuff like that. One question that I have come up with for other swimmers I've asked, I'm truly interested in getting your thoughts on is what's a set you have done that you will never forget? Like, what's the hardest set that you can think about right now? Like, it could be at GVSU, could be prior that you're like, I never want to experience that set, or I don't know how I got through it.
As a sprinter, I have 2 sets that I have very painfully have done. One was when I was just starting out and I had to do 6 500s. And when you're
Sounds
just starting
brutal.
when you're just starting out having to do 6 500s, this was my freshman year. I joined the team thinking this was gonna be fun. Then a Saturday morning practice with the assistant coach. Oh my gosh, I still love the guy to pieces, but he killed us that day, and I was the last person to finish, and it took a long time for me to be able to look at him and just say that set was a good idea. But the one at GV that really hurts me the most is a 200 race set where you do 175 yards
Okay.
and try and beat your best 200 time. They're on 230. You go a 75 easy into another 175, beating your best 200 pace on 230, and then another 75. But then you get a minute break in between there, and then you do a 75 at 200 pace, and then a 175 easy, and then two of them at pace, two 75s at pace, another 175 easy, and we had to do that twice. I've only ever been able to complete the whole thing one time in my 4 years here, and that was last year where somehow I was able to survive it.
Do you guys do that at least once a year then? I'm assuming.
He writes it up there probably 3, maybe 4 times a year,
Okay.
but there's usually other options that are up there that I'm able to do. Like, there's usually, like, a sprint set, there's an everyone else set, there's a distance set, but there's been occasions where that's been the main set up there, and I just know that it's gonna be a brutal time. Cause am I able to do the 200 kinda well? Yes, but am I a 200 full-blown swimmer? I am not, so it, really hurts me after the first 2, and then I know I have to do a whole lot more. I think I have to do 4 more after that.
Yeah. No, it sounds completely brutal. Like, it does not sound fun whatsoever. Like, when you see that set on the board, like, what's your first thoughts? Like, what's going through your head? Are you
I
like
think
this will be
I'm,
fun, or a different word comes out?
I'm thinking today is not gonna be a good day. I mean, everything else going up to it looks nice, looks not too bad. There's a little bit of kick usually he throws in before there, but then we that set comes up and it's just, oh god, it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do here. Test sets are hard, but that set takes it to another level.
Do you guys do like the really difficult sets? Maybe test sets you guys do, but do you guys ever like sue up for anything like that, or no, not really?
So sometimes what we're able to do is they just did this last week too. There were a couple guys who actually suited up for a test set that we just did on Tuesday, and it was 1050s from the block on 2 minutes. So
Okay.
you maybe get like a minute and a half rest, and then you got to go again. There were a couple of guys that wore suits. I chose not to just because I want to see what I can do without one,
Yeah.
and I outperformed my expectations. I actually held relatively a lot quicker than I've ever held before. I went 22.4 average on all 10. But the other guys who wore suits, I mean, Carson loves to wear suits and is starting to incorporate that more into his training, which he's gotten a lot better with his speed, which so I think he's going to have a really good year. because I can see the motivation in his eyes whenever I talk to him, and every single time I text him and some kind of swim news pops up, he has to always get my input on it and
Yeah.
always talk to me about it for a bit. I I mean, his passion for this season is something unmatched, and I can't wait to be able to go through it with him. And he's definitely incorporated the tech suits a lot more because he wants to be able to learn how to race in a tech suit when times get hard.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you have to love that, right? Like seeing kind of in his eyes, seeing that competitive drive, because obviously, like you have that competitive drive. And speaking of that, like, what are your expectations for this year? Because obviously, like last year, really big success, but there has to be that drive still there and saying, last year was fun. Let's try and make this a better one.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that I want to end my career on a high note, and I want to go out being able to do the best that I know that I can do, whether that's dropping time significantly in my events, whether that's placing really high but I don't get the time at nationals, or whether it's getting that hopefully that 12th conference championship and being able to place another top 4 finish at nationals.
Yeah.
I just wanna be able to end my career knowing that I gave everything I could have given this year to Grand Valley Swimming, because I know I came in with a lot of hope that I would potentially get to this situation, and now I can hopefully finish this season and leave knowing that I have given everything, every ounce of energy into these races, and I can say for certain that I am ready to walk away.
It has to be so rewarding just kind of looking back at your last couple of years and just how far you've come. And obviously, you have bigger expectations that you want to still get to, but it has to be cool kind of looking back a little bit and just seeing like how much has changed and how much as a swimmer you've changed and improved.
Yeah, I mean, my face hasn't really changed that much. I just look like I've gotten more mature, but I've definitely seen a lot more of a change when it comes to how I've been swimming and how things have gone, whether it's classes or in the pool. I've definitely this program has taught me to really grow up and become the person I am today, which I couldn't thank them more than anything for that. And I do my best every single day in practice, even when I'm battling like a slight injury and something happens, I always still, if it's like in my shoulders, I always still show up and kick. Like this morning, I mean, I had a little bit of a shoulder hiccup and I had to go get checked out by the trainer quick, but that took 10 minutes and then I was right back in the pool doing the kick set with everyone else. So that's the kind of stuff that I know that I need to give to Grand Valley Swimming because of what it has given me, and I couldn't thank them enough for it.
I was just going to ask, like, what do you want to be like remembered for? But it truly seems like you want to be remembered for obviously like the effort you've put in, the relationships that you've had, just how much you've grown. Like, obviously, accomplishments, accolades is great, but like, it truly seems like what's most important for you is to be remembered for kind of like the teammate, the time you put in, the help that you were there if they ever needed it. Like, it truly seems like that is so much more important and just kind of giving back to GVSU what it's given you. And I'm sure you're going to give back a lot more as well.
Yeah, these coaches have given me everything. I mean, I was not originally going to be one of the recruits coming in for my year. I had to actually reach out to them multiple occasions and get them to want me to come on as an athlete who probably wouldn't get any kind of scholarship and would almost be on the verge of a walk on, but my times were quick enough. So I was a very special case when it comes to it, and I could not thank them enough. So I always know that I do the best that I can in the pool. I do the best that I can at practice. I always do the best that I can in the weight room. Whenever all these little hiccups come up, I know that I take care of them, and they know I take care of them to the best of my ability because been able to build that trust up with them. And I want to be able to make sure that they remember me as the swimmer that they know that they can count on when it comes to the big meets.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I truly think that is awesome. I think you're continuing to do that, and obviously you have all this year left to go. I obviously hope you accomplish all the goals that you wanted to get back to nationals. Have a great year, but I'm gonna have you foreshadow a little bit, kind of look beyond this year. I know that might be a little bit hard since it's just starting. You have an inter squad meet tomorrow, but after GVSU, your swim career might not be completely over, as I know you qualified for trials. When you got that news, what was your reaction? Like, obviously, there had to be excitement. Like, are you planning on going to trials as of right now? Is it kind of up in the air? Like, where are you at with this whole thing? Because for most swimmers, I would guess qualifying for Olympic trials would be a dream come true.
Yeah, I mean, qualifying for trials over the summer, I mean, it was just an unbelievable moment. I didn't think I would ever get that close, let alone actually get the time. So being able to do that, I just had so much excitement at the meet I was at. I raced David Bajwa. We swam in
Oh,
a
did you
time
really?
trial actually,
That's awesome.
and he I originally didn't get it in the open 50, so my club coach, this guy, he just asks if I want to do a 50 all out in a time trial just for shits and giggles. So
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he just brings along David because he had asked David if he would want to race me. And it was just a good way of getting one last good competition with him because I know he's a heck of an athlete. I mean, he burns people on underwaters all the time. I mean,
yeah,
the guy's just a phenomenal athlete, an even better person, and being able to just do that in the race with him. I mean, the guy gave me the biggest hug while we were still in the water. So it was just a surreal moment. My coaches were happy because they had to time me, and just going through that, it was a very fun time. And I just couldn't thank him enough for pushing me enough to actually get that time. And he actually dropped some time too from his earlier event, from his earlier 50, which kind of gave us both a little bit of a win-win there. For trials, I would say right now it is up in the air just because I have a whole big long year of this last season to do, and
yeah.
I got to make sure that I get through and focus up on what's coming up rather than in a few years. But as of right now, it's up in the air. It's leaning more towards wanting to keep going for trials, but I want to make sure that I'm able to be in the best shape possible for this season and end it on a good note.
Yeah, no, that's the right way to approach it, right? Like you want to have a great last year at GVSU, and then depending on how that goes, depending on how you're feeling, there's a real possibility that you could be in Indianapolis swimming at football stadium, which I know last trials they did. I didn't know if you were able to. I know a lot of swimmers did go to that, but it sounds like a really cool environment, but that's in the future. So maybe if you decide to do that, maybe we'll have to get you back on, talk a little bit about trials, but that's a few years down the road.
Yeah, and I'll have to see if that whole works because I still have a slight plan to possibly train with David over at Calvin for the
Okay.
next like few years because I know he's trying to go and qualify for trials as well. So we would both actually be good training partners for each other. We'd help each other in our events. We'd probably only do like enough for a 50, but it would be something that would be very fun for the both of us, and it'd be a cool opportunity if it actually presented itself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, David's great. I know he did great things over there. Glad to hear that he's continuing to swim. But right before I kind of wrap it up, um, I do want to end on something we did last time. I did change all the questions, so they're not going to be, I don't think, any repeating questions. Maybe they will be, but obviously you're familiar with it. I'm familiar with it. Basically called the fast round. I think they're actually pretty good last time. I don't know how good they actually were, but we'll
I'd say
see.
they were pretty good questions. They were pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. But let me know whenever you're ready. I'll get going. And if you want to give an explanation, you absolutely can.
All right, I'll give the explanation after the fact, but yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, sounds good. Never use a swim cap again or never use goggles again.
Never use a cap again.
Not being able to use fins during a kick set or not being able to use paddles during a pull set.
Fins during a kick set.
Have no time to warm up before a race or no time to cool down after one.
No time to warm up before.
Hot tub or cold plunge.
Hot tub.
Have to swim a 25 with a bucket all the way full or swim with a rack at the heaviest weight.
I'd say rack at the heaviest weight.
Not be allowed to dive off the black for a race or not being allowed to do any underwaters or pullouts.
Underwaters or pullouts.
Rip your brand new tech suit at your championship meet or forget it at home.
Rip it.
Relay start every race or always have the fastest reaction time off the black.
Always have the fastest reaction.
Swim a world record time or win an Olympic gold medal.
World record time.
Get first place but add 2 seconds from your best time or swim a best time and just miss the podium.
Best time, miss the podium.
Live in a 25-yard short course pool or a 50-yard long course pool.
50-yard long course.
And last question, swim without music or without teammates?
Without music.
Do you guys listen to music at GVSU or is it pretty quiet?
Yeah, we typically have one person every day, whether it's a coach or an athlete. They always want to put aux on Bluetooth speakers, so we typically have music going during practice.
Do you ever get the aux or do you not trust yourself enough for it?
I don't trust how everyone will like my music because I tailored it towards me, so it's gonna be a lot more of my kind of favorite stuff rather than what they might actually like. So I let them go and do it, but my girlfriend one time actually put my music on her aux, and she didn't tell me until after she was playing it because she wanted to see when I would notice.
How quickly did you notice that?
It took me about 15 minutes to notice because then I
Okay.
heard a song that was specifically on my playlist that wasn't on hers, and at that point I looked over at her and she just gave me a big smile.
I love that. What kind of music would be on your playlist or is on your playlist though?
It's got a big mixture of some things. There's a little bit of rap on there. There's a little bit of like country. There's a bit of like more today's kind of music. I do like a lot of more of like 80s stuff. That's really
Okay.
good. So I got a big wide variety of music that I'm interested in, and I usually keep playlists for my everyday and for my meet stuff.
What's your favorite song? Like if you're walking out, let's say you're at nationals and you're listening to a song. What are you walking out to?
I got two of them. One of them is Enter Sandman, and
Oh,
then
love
the
that.
other one is In the Club by 50 Cent.
Love that. Those are both great songs. The Enter Sandman though has to be so cool to walk out.
Oh, it'll be a blast. Hopefully I'll get a chance to play it this year and be able to walk it out. Not it won't be at mid-season, but it'll be at a conference. Hopefully we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, I really appreciate you joining, man. I know this is the second time coming on. Hopefully it was as fun, maybe a little bit more fun, but I appreciate you coming back on. I know that you're busy. I know that you have a lot going on. I know you have to get going here shortly, so I'll let you get going. But hey, maybe we can get you back on for a third time, depending on how this year goes. Would love to have you back on, but truly appreciate you joining, man. Been a lot of fun. And yeah, good luck this year.
Yeah, and thank you for having me again. And of course, if after this season, after nationals, I may or may not be swimming, I'll be have the 2 weeks off, but we'll see about possibly having another time after that. And yeah, it was really still as fun as it was last time. So thanks for having me on, and thank you again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks again for joining. And like I said, obviously, good luck the rest of this year. Good luck at your inter squad meet. I'm sure you're excited about that. Good luck at midseason, conference, and nationals as well. And yeah, no, thank you again for joining. That is a wrap to episode number 498. Thank you again to Evan for joining and tune in to the next episode.